Hi. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Anish Chopra from the GM badge of XLI Jamshedpur. It is my absolute pleasure to host a special episode of ReinVision 5.0. Our theme this year is AI human synergy, exploring how brilliant people and intelligent machines can push the boundaries of performance without diminishing each other's value. Our guest today brings a rare and valuable perspective. In a career spanning just over about 18 years, he has gone from hands-on development on a critical project for the National Stock Exchange to shaping the technological vision as the CTO of a leading capital markets enterprise. He has navigated high-stakes trading environments, evolving regulatory compliances, and rapid technological evolution, all while championing domain mastery and human judgment over pure technical hype. Hardik Sangi, thank you for joining us today. It's a real privilege to have this conversation with you.
Thank you.
Before we dive deep into the nitty-gritties of the conversation around AI and human synergy, we would first like to just touch base upon how has this experience been for you so far at the campus?
Yeah, it's a wonderful campus, and I am at Jamshedpur for the first time. So it's an awesome place, and the campus is much more developed than what I expected.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
Glad we could surprise you
Yes.
and create some value. And speaking of value, especially given the world around us, and so you often you emphasize beyond the hype. At a recent conclave, you made a powerful point. While AI maturity varies widely across companies, leadership should stop asking what's new in AI and should instead ask the harder question: what real value did it create? Given the underlying model architectures continue to shift every month, given this space, especially right now as it's evolving every now and then, how should emerging business and technologies leaders define and measure the genuine value gained from AI without getting swept up in the marketing hype of it all?
See, I would see this as whether changing any model or whether changing any underlying technology is really making any difference to my outcome. If it's making, then yes, we should adopt to it, or we should make changes in the technology that we're using. Or else otherwise, just by changing a model from say 4.0 to 4.1, or say from a Sonnet to the latest model, if there are no gains as such, or it doesn't change anything on the business metric visibility, then just for the sake of change, it won't make sense.
Understood.
So it should generate more business value if there is some change, underlying change that's happening. That's how I would like to put it.
All right, that's insightful. And for the management students here today, because you also mentioned how you yourself has also you've ventured out a bit and also completed your CFA level 1, I believe.
Yes.
That's not something that I think I would be possible for me to do. But for the management students here today, how non-negotiable is it to pair strong technical capability with deep domain immersion right from the early stages of one's career, just like ourselves, if you've noticed?
Very important. Without domain knowledge, it's like difficult to survive in this age. Because see, earlier, if you were a coder, you know development and nothing about domain knowledge, there were people to guide you who would do this job. But now with the code coming out of the AI agents by just prompting something, the real value comes in like how do you understand, how do you put that code into your own domain, the nuances of the domain that you should put in a system. That is very important to understand.
Understood. Yes. And how do you, and as AI systems become increasingly anonymous, how do you see the relationship between human intuition and, for example, if we take into your domain and the history of your career, let's just take a look into maybe algorithmic execution evolving on the trading floor. Is it primarily going to be just an optimization tool which is going to drive down transactional cost towards zero? Or is it fundamentally reshaping the marketing dynamics altogether? How do you see AI in playing a role in this?
This is very interesting topic. I often hear from people saying that, okay, now what traders are going to do, what some people are going to do if AI would replace them. But especially I would touch upon the trading part of it. Like, see, intuition is one thing, and what AI is helping us is more on the pattern recognition from the data that's available.
Understood.
So, and trading is much more than a pattern recognition. it involves how client is behaving, the market psychology, geopolitical risk, and various other factors. And AI can only throw out what it has been trained on and what it can connect to some extent given the context. But if there's a scenario which AI has never been across, I would be surprised it's all about hallucination coming out.
Yes.
So that's where it is. So traders still have existence. Similarly, other roles would also exist. AI only knows what it has been trained on. New scenarios it cannot come out with. It can help you with the analysis by connecting the dots at the end. But for that, you will have to ask intelligent questions. Without that, expecting that AI would do 100% of the job is something that's incorrect understanding. So saying that, in fact, I would say now the experience of traders which would matter much more, because see, what AI will do, AI will democratize the information. Earlier, gathering the information was a task in itself. So senior traders would employ junior analysts to say that, okay, you prepare all this data from other markets here and there and make it ready so that I will analyze later. Because the insights that he has by talking to clients and with other stakeholders is adding value to the overall data, right? That a junior analyst will never come to know that, right? So now that information gathering part has been simplified with AI. So now the next step is, with your experience, earlier experience in trading, you use that to connect everything that has come out of the AI chatbot or whatever systems are connected, and then analyze it in much better way, cross question it in a way so that you will have more intelligence. Challenge the answer that has come out of the AI, and then just by making AI think more in terms of, okay, why this not, you will get much more insights that were not earlier possible. So maybe we may require less people, but we are not taking up any roles as such.
All right, understood. Now, as part of, you mentioned that gathering the data part from a junior to a senior, where the senior gets the insights out, and the junior was earlier responsible for acquiring the data and presenting it to the senior role. Do you feel that, for example, as a senior analyst as well, some part of the journey, how he or she has learned how to gain insights, also came from the fact that how they were through the process of gathering data itself as well?
Very true, yes, but that's something, an additional work that junior analysts will now have to do on its own, because the grunt work that made analysts learn in first place, that's the experience that they will be missing on.
Yeah.
Same is the true with development also. See, earlier when people were coders were manually coding everything without the help of any AI, they would understand, okay, this is the error where I'm getting stopped. So next time when he would code, he would incorporate all that insights, right? But now with first year of your career, if you have access to an AI tool where you're just generating the code, that experience would completely miss out from your career. So you have to learn it in a hard way, maybe probably through reading some books, through videos here and there.
Yeah.
But and again, what experience a coder could gain in so many years of time, maybe for a new joinee would be in a matter of months or probably a year or so, because of the access to a lot of information. But again, what we are continuously talking in all the panels is that curiosity should be there. You should not wait saying that, okay, now I have got the answer, I am done, my work is done, and now I'll go and grab more coffees in a day. Then, so that is not going to work out. You have to be more curious to dig more, so that you will know, okay, these were the problems faced by earlier people. That's the reason why this has been invented. While this is making your life earlier, you still have to know the learnings that we have come through. So that's
Understood.
how.
You touched upon a very nice topic, which is also being discussed in the panels as well. I feel the curiosity of humans in general has been put to the forefront as an important metric.
Yes.
Just the willingness to learn and to unlearn as well. Um, that's a touch upon a
So
great thing.
curiosity and judgment. So see, I can have ample resources with me now. So earlier, I would think if I have a startup idea, I would think where will I get the developers? Where will I get this? How will I do this? Now everything is possible online or through the use of AI tools, right? But then that judgment and leap of faith, whether I want to get into a startup or I want to be at a job, that still remains with a human.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's how you have to think about every role that is currently present vis-a-vis what is it that you can, how you can leverage these AI tools for your own career growth.
Understood. It's a great point. Curiosity seems to be the one that creates a long-term impact. But if I take a step back further, let's say, for example, you have assigned a task to someone, right? A and B. And let's say A decides to be more curious about it, even though using the AI tool, he could deliver that task to you quicker. But he or she wants to learn more, so they take a bit more time. Whereas person B might use the AI tool and just get done with the work instantly and be more useful to you as an organization in the short term, perhaps. So how does it happen from the perspective of leadership, which is the role that you now play? How are you able to assess it, or how do you segue between it to able to really see through it and understand if people are learning and how it will take?
See, from
place
the
in long term?
experience, I would know that something was going to take 3 weeks, say, hypothetically. Now, that could be done in a day or two max. So you would expect something should come out in 2 days.
Yes.
But then instead of 3 weeks and 2 days, if you assign somebody a week's time, still you are like better in your productivity, and that learning curve is also not missing. And then the other thing, like I need it in 2 ways, depends on more on the urgency part as well. Like if there's something urgent to be delivered, then your learning should be in parallel to the way you deliver, and then do it later. First deliver on what is required. Otherwise, if you can do 3 weeks of work in 2 days, spend rest of your time validating, learning that stuff, how it has actually come out, so that if there is a cross questioning, or if you have to explain someone that this is what has come out, and how can you improvise it, what are the different scenarios where it can be worked out, so then that person is capable of answering all these questions. You we are not expecting someone to say, oh, AI gave that answer and that is the reason why it's here, right? I want someone to take responsibility of whatever has been delivered, and accountability remains with that person, saying that, okay, this is your code that you have deployed, and you should be responsible if there are any issues in future.
Understood. Yes, it makes sense. It seems like AI has now become like a really amazing intern, and now even the base level developers have become sort of managers and accountable for what the AI tool does.
Yes.
So I'll take this forward, and I would want to understand key and touch base upon one of the things which you used in the CXO incubator, which you mentioned. And we'll touch base upon the interplay between human judgment and technology during large-scale transformations, which you have an experience in. You once led a major shift in institutional equities, moving away from, let's say, external platform or vendors, and finally building something highly customizable and proprietary and in-house solution. This is something I also have a experience in, but more of in the building side rather than strategically focusing on what to and where to start off from. So when you're staring down at a legacy infrastructure overhaul of that magnitude, how do you strategically, or at least in some way, quantifiably decide which parts of the workflow to prioritize fast? Because there's just several things you can touch base upon. So how do you start or decide upon it?
See, it's very simple. Something that can give a competitive edge to an organization should be tackled first. Like if something is commodity and readily available, you better continue with the vendor-based system or a legacy system that's going on. But if that's hampering in your competitive advantage, then that is the first target to be taken up. And say, suppose if everything is all good, but then also if we feel that, okay, something doing in-house is going to give us a competitive advantage, or by changing something is going to give us competitive advantage, then that's the first thing to tackle, right? Why would you incur cost on something that's not going to be beneficial? Again, coming back to the first question that's coming, only if that change is going to make my life better, or there's a better business outcome because of that, then it makes sense to do, right? Otherwise, why will an organization invest into something?
Understood. And that makes sense, and it feels nice to how you're able to relate any decision back to it being output. So even if it's AI or tomorrow it's something else, that is what it matters at the end of the day. So as you know, also another thing that you mentioned, a hallmark of your leadership is the insistence on optimizing human processes before introducing new technology. You've often said that if the underlying workflow is broken, even the best AI will fail. So how do you practically diagnose and improve these human workflows before layering on new tools or systems in place?
See, we started with digitization long back, saying that all our documents are scattered here and there. We should digitize stuff. After digitization, processes were set. So processes came into existence. Then we said, okay, now process is in place, whether it's done by human, but it's still done by human. Now we should make processes automated. So processes would automate. So once processes start automating, so you will have a standardization workflow across, say, individual teams.
Yes.
As such. Then to the next level, then you say, like, how would you integrate these workflows so that different teams can connect seamlessly and all your work is done in a seamless manner. Yeah. So that's how the thought process works, and that's how the organization have gone through, like, from digitization to making processes to integrations and all that part. So that earlier individual teams were empowered, then that scale increases to, like, which teams can best be integrated system-wise fast so that the data moves faster from one place to another. Now it's at the organization-wide thought process that how things can go at much faster scale. Because see, earlier you have heard, like, a file goes from a table to table where it is processed and then goes to another table. So it's the same, but now the data is flowing digitally between departments, and that's what we optimize it. In fact, I would say this AI is giving organizations the best opportunity. See, with AI, the opportunity isn't in automating the existing workflows, because that's already done and dusted, right? Since so many years. But how do you redesign the overall workflow within the organization boundaries? That's important. See, we see a lot of jobs and all going on because people earlier have never thought, like, okay, this could be done this way also. And with doing this end to end, we could just eliminate lot of people requirement, and this process can be done this way. So with AI, that thought process is coming into place where they are redesigning the whole workflow end to end, which earlier was very legacy stuff wherein, step by step, everything was happening, and that continued for years. Even if automation was thought, then as I told you, it was like first within the department what all I could automate, then I would look at a larger level, then at the organization level. But now when organizations are thinking with this AI part, they are thinking about redesigning the whole workflow at all. So you may see that while the distinction between the teams would blur, maybe the responsibility and accountability still remains. Say in finance, we have like front office, mid office, back office, and research and all that. The accountability still remains. But then what happens is, what can be done in a seamless way across all the teams, that flow can be handled by just creating an agent and you do end to end.
True. Yes.
And most of the work is like, say, in our case, like handling institutional orders on a daily basis. So out of the 100% orders that we receive, 60-70% would be like plain vanilla, where there is no special requirements from clients or nothing to be done on the other side. At least that flow can be automated end to end, like seamless flow right from receiving an order to giving confirmations to client. And so that the existing staff can then be deployed to generate more business and value. More complex business if at all required, so that our expertise also increases at overall level.
That's an interesting take. Reusing human capital in other areas and actually trying to automate the business usual activities, so that you can be put more into use of creating more value instead of just
automate the boring stuff make agents for the boring stuff so that humans can use their
Be more creative
brains for more
as well.
creative and more complex work.
Understood. You also touched base upon. I'd saved this question for earlier, but since you mentioned it, I really want to. I think it's a great segue for now as well. You mentioned the lines of functionality between people really blurring in terms of AI has elevated us in a way. For example, a developer can now create posters. A product manager can now create workflows on his own. Or I have seen that AI can make communication clear as well between teams, since now I can create a mock-up and show the developers what the requirement is. But as as it enhances our capabilities and blurs the line, how do you find? Do you see the organization over a period of time restructuring itself across functions, or how? Because since the roles are blurring, how do you really set up a structure in that place?
See, maybe an early question at this point in time, things are not clear at the workplace as well.
Yes.
But see, what I would at least say here is that everybody would become an I, or AI, as an I in Marathi is like a mother to an agent. Because see, what you have to do is keep on teaching an agent so that it becomes more and more intelligent. So say, for example, you created an agent, very simple prompts, writing and all that. Say it was analyzing some document. Hypothetically, I'm giving you a simplest of examples so that you can relate. So it's just an document that you have to analyze, right? So say now you wrote prompts and everything, but still you found out after the first take, after you ran that prompt saying that things are not good, I did not get to what I wanted. So what you do is, then you enhance that prompt. So someday you will reach saying that any document that I give and I should answer all these 50 questions that are always there in my mind when I look at this particular document. So what is happening is you are training your prompt after every iteration. So that becomes your ownership now. So something new comes up later on, you are again going back to that agent to optimizing it, saying that this is something, an unknown thing for an agent. Let me make it more intelligent by incorporating this scenario. See, currently in our software systems, that is what we are doing, right? We identify some bugs, we identify some new scenarios, and we say that we will incorporate that. Similarly, that is going to happen with agents also. Agents will remain responsibility of some or the other person to continuously enhance that agent so that it can handle more and more scenarios and it becomes intelligent over a period of time. But again, human is important here because agent would only know to the extent that it has been trained into and nothing more than that.
Okay, understood.
So that's how things will work out.
All right, so I feel the agents and how you decide to build them out will seem to play an important role around how you structure the organization. Perhaps because someone will be responsible for it, and that's how the structure will.
So now, say product manager, if it is responsible for developing an agent, then that product manager will be accountable for everything in terms of what it happens to that agent, what scenarios it can handle, and how to make it more and more intelligent in the future. So agent will have, so to say, a parent at every point in time, and which will nurture that agent time and again so that it becomes more and more intelligent.
Understood.
It's like training a child as and when it matures over a period of time.
That's nice. I would also like to touch base upon one thing which you mentioned on some other podcast around software being commoditized, because essentially it has become easier, to be honest. I think we have all worked upon it as well, and we've seen the output of it from someone, maybe not on my end, because of someone who's never even coded. They're able to build such beautiful softwares. So it's clearly evident. But even then, in this scenario, what makes you, since earlier we were talking about shifting in-house, so I'm looking more outwards. So now when you're looking at vendor procurement or what other areas, how do you evaluate things? And first, why not in-house, since software itself has become commoditized? What makes you go, well, let's not build, let's buy?
No, again, I will go back to the same question, same answer, saying that only we are a financial service firm and every firm will belong to some or the other domain. We want to see what gives us competitive edge.
Competitive edge.
I can build an email system, but that does not mean I start competing with Microsoft and build an email system, right? Because that's a commodity now, and I can continue to use what Microsoft is giving, right? Similarly, there are many other examples like the likes of ERPs and the CRMs and all that. So if by creating something specific in my workflow, internal to the organization in a CRM is going to give me competitive edge or what others are not able to provide, then that makes sense for me to develop, right? Otherwise, it's better because see, development is one part, but there's testing, there's coding, there's maintenance of that. So I don't want to become a software company with so many developers in hand maintaining all these systems. See, we have just seen it like it's developing systems for us, but the maintenance still remains that part, right? So once you have a system in place, in fact, there are more people required at the backend to maintain that. Day to day, there are no issues. You have to ensure it's uptime, data is backed up because people are using it. It takes up storage space. What sort of CPU, GPU requirements are there at the backend? Whether we are not crossing our thresholds because people are using it more. What's the workload? Should we have more infrastructure put in to have that system up and running at all times, that during peak load as well? So there's so many questions that goes around at the back end. System development is only a part of
the whole life cycle.
Whole life cycle of a product, yes. So just by saying that, okay, once my software is developed now, I don't need anybody, is a wrong thought process. So we would continue to remain, and that way organizations will also decide in a way saying that if there is a competitive edge or if it's generating something, then it makes sense to develop that in-house and have people to manage that, because that's going to give us a competitive advantage, and having people to maintain that also makes sense of the advantage that we are getting.
Right, that's nice. That's great. So it seems like maintenance and maintaining systems and maintaining
that's a big chunk of the responsibilities that you have. You spoke about legacy systems as well, right? So system once developed, and after 1 year you would say that, okay, this is a legacy system with the kind of change that's happening.
That makes sense. Speaking of maintenance and maintaining relationships, you seem to have rely a lot on nicely as well on your human connections as well, when you're relying on what to do, which external vendor to talk to, and it seems to like word of mouth does work, and we all know about it. So do you remember an instance maybe where instead of where there are no one around to really refer to you, and how you became the first person as a word of mouth for everyone else regarding your vendor, or how do you make that judgment in those scenarios?
Yeah, I mean, see, with AI systems, that's how it is. It's all about experimentation.
Yes.
And something some other organization would take first as experimenting it, we would take first, and we don't have reference use cases or people who have already implemented or have already done it. It's everybody, for everyone it's new. So now we are building up those systems, and maybe then we would say, okay, we did this. Currently, it's like off-the-shelf tools that we're using it for our day-to-day productivity, for software development. You have Cloud Code, GitHub Copilots, and the likes of so many tools available. So as of now, the journey has been to put that into the hands of people so that their productivity can be improved in some or the other way. Then when we start, we have already started putting that into our core workflows.
System,
yes. Yeah, so for that we are building up. Now somebody may think in some different way, we may think into some different way, like this is the use case that we think makes sense.
Yeah.
Somebody thinks that this is the use case that we make. So everybody is building this for the first time.
Yeah.
So now maybe 6 months, 1 year down the line, you will hear stories that who have become successful in AI implementation and what their journey has been. Maybe next ReinVision 6.0 would be this discussion story.
It feels like we're in very interesting times, and we'll see how this plays out. It gives a chance for even legacy players to also reinvent themselves in this at least current time.
Yes.
Just before we end this, I have a couple of questions just to take your input as well. Since what do you feel like looks like the future of the capital markets? What major changes do you see in the coming period of time? Maybe not in the coming 6 months, but in 2-3 years, what will get commoditized, or what will get to the hands of, like, for example, would AI-powered algorithmic trading bot become easily accessible to everyday retail investors, or wealth management services trickling down to a much broader base as well? What do you feel is a greater shift which you see or you envision or you're interested in?
See, I would say yes, technology is going to be commoditized, and it's just a matter of time. Like 6 months, 1 year, I decide to invest, some other firm decides not to invest. People may wait and watch as to whether we should invest into this or how it plays out. So it's just a matter of time. Once that phase has gone, so we have seen that earlier in terms of cloud computing or latency infrastructure for our algorithms, or multiple other things, like we had specialized cards for our algorithms to be put into servers and all that. So over a period of time, everything gets commoditized, everybody has everything. And then it's back to basics, like what will give you a competitive, what will give you a competitive edge in terms of your proprietary data that you have that has been collected by the firm over a period of time, your institutional knowledge. So you have people who has access to other people, other insights, which other firms may not have. So that will become your, how operationally resilient you are, how are your internal compliance processes and everything, and how is the trust building up of clients on your people. See, because say if you have to choose between two financial services firm, and at the technology side, both of them are at par, then you would see other factors, right? How is the sales service? Whom do I call and I'm getting a quick service at all times? So all that factors would matter again once these technologies. So now if you see like online brokers, everybody looks same because everybody is offering. If not now, then 6 months down the line, the other broker will have the same facilities. So more or less in technology terms, everybody has it. So technology can be an advantage in terms of at the entry point. Like, okay, people will observe, the customers that are entering now would see, oh, this person, this financial service firm has this particular feature which I am excited about. I will go here. But then it's just an early mover advantage. The others will follow and that will do it. But then again, if you went there and you are not happy with their post-trade services, or things are not well, you're not getting money on time, then you would say, Arey, ditch this, I want, these facilities are more important for me. So only a smartest AI is not going to get you the business, is what I'm trying to say. There are other factors which were playing the role, are playing the role and will continue to play the role. It's just this set of new technology that has come in and everybody's
working.
So
it seems like an endless cycle of creating competitive edge and enhancing the overall experience of the customer.
Correct.
Feels like it. So before we conclude, let's do a quick rapid fire round. Short instinctive answers are welcome. AI in a single word, hope or hype?
Hype.
Core infrastructure strategy, build in-house or buy off the shelf?
Hybrid.
Hybrid, okay. Yes. And overrated or underrated, relying on gut instinct in technology leadership?
Underrated.
Okay, that's nice to know. If you could start your career fresh again, which industry outside of the capital markets would you want to try your hand at?
I have not tried anything so far.
So anything that excites you or you would have looked at around?
Not thought of it, I would say.
So looks like you're an expert in this field. Yes. India's capital market landscape in 2030. 3 words, if you feel.
Innovative, inclusive, and instant. I think these are good words.
I already believe it has become instant, but inclusive, that feels nicer that we're broadening up, given that we have such a large volume of people in India as well.
Yes.
So, Hardik, thank you so much for this candid and insightful conversation. You've given us a grounded, practical blueprint for what meaningful AI-human synergy looks like inside high-performing enterprises. It is a powerful reminder that while machines can accelerate research, workflows, and scale, the ultimate value will always be anchored in human judgment, domain expertise, and trust, and obviously creating that endless competitive edge.
Yes.
This has been ReinVision 5.0. I'm Anish Chopra. Keep questioning, keep